There's been a lot of buzz lately about OpenAI achieving AGI, especially with OpenAI's new model, O3, which could disrupt the entire industry. This is because O3 actually scored higher on an intelligence test than humans for the first time in history. Can you guess the number? Well, we'll get to that in a second. But before that, it's important to know that OpenAI has one little secret they're not telling us about. So before you brace yourself for Armageddon, you might want to hear what Sam Altman and his group of engineers left out when revealing O3's score on the Ark AGI benchmark. OpenAI held their famous 12 days of OpenAI, and on the last day, they released something that no one thought was possible. It was the O3 model of GPT. Before that, some individuals in the AI field were starting to think that AI growth had hit a plateau, but not anymore. The O3 model was not just an improvement on the current AI models, but a step towards true artificial general intelligence, or AGI. When the O3 completed the Ark AGI benchmark, it scored 87.5%. Just to give you a comparison, humans generally score 85% on this test. And this is not just an average benchmark, it tests genuine intelligence. Just think about it. In 2020, artificial intelligence scored 0 on this test. And just 4 years later, it managed to increase its score exponentially. The reason the Ark AGI benchmark is so important is because experts consider it to be the foundation of general intelligence. This benchmark tests a system's capacity to recognize patterns in new situations and adapt knowledge to unfamiliar challenges. And while other large language models have trouble with math problems, which for humans would seem very easy, OpenAI's O3 model broke this barrier. It showed that it can create new programs and come up with different approaches in real time, which is very important if we want to achieve AGI. So now, the question isn't going to be whether or not AI will ever turn into AGI, but when will it do so? And of course, will we be ready for such a monumental achievement? The Ark AGI benchmark is like an IQ test, but for LLMs. But unlike other benchmarks that exist, this one's resistant to memorization, which is a key to how LLMs work. If we could take a look at the brain of OpenAI's LLM, we would see that it's this web of information connected through patterns. So when GPT is solving a problem, it's because it has solved that problem in the past. It simply remembers it and accesses it. But the Ark AGI benchmark isn't about memorization at all. Ark AGI is about general knowledge in physics, counting, and rationalization, which is considered to be part of our core knowledge. So imagine this as the sort of knowledge a 4-year-old would have. That's why each puzzle in Ark AGI is new, something that the LLM has probably never encountered before. Being a memorization tool, LLMs have a hard time recognizing these patterns, or at least they did in the past. Today, OpenAI's O3 LLM managed to smash that like button, just like you should if you haven't done so already. But no, in all seriousness, the OpenAI LLM managed to score an exceptionally high score on the Ark AGI, which looks like this. So far, AI couldn't pass this task, which seems pretty intuitive for a human brain. So this is where things start to get a little interesting. Every time an LLM is subjected to the Ark AGI test, it comes up with a new task that the AI software needs to solve. It does this because it wants to test the system's ability to reason in real time. For the first time on high compute, O3 managed to score an astonishing 87.5% on the Ark AGI test. And while these results sound impressive, there's a hidden secret that Sam Altman doesn't like everyone to know. Before you start bracing for the AGI revolution, it's worth pointing out that the OpenAI team hit a very important fact in their chart. The compute score is actually a dollar value, and the table is a little misleading. Now, they specified low compute and high compute, but they didn't really explain what that means. For all of us average people out there, this simply translates to dollars. How many dollars would it cost for AI to complete this task? And the answer to that question is quite interesting. You see, the first quadrant, where the O1 Mini scored 7.8% on the Ark AGI test, is from $0 to $1. The next quadrant ranges from $1 to $10, while the third quadrant ranges from $10 to $100. And in the fourth quadrant, the range is from $100 to $1,000. All of these factors go up by a factor of 10. Meanwhile, the quadrant size remains the same. And if that is true for all the previous quadrants, then that means the 87.5% score is in the fifth quadrant, which would logically need to go from $1,000 to $10,000. And if you look closely, that score is closer to $10,000 than it is to $1,000. So what does this mean? Well, to solve this task that we said would be intuitive for a 4-year-old, it took the O3 model close to $10,000 in compute power. Do you know what this means? It means that AGI is not as close as OpenAI I would like us to believe. To give you a real-world example, that would be like you giving the computer a fairly simple puzzle to solve, and it asks you for $10,000 to solve it. Would you pay that much money? Of course you wouldn't, especially since you'd already know the answer to the puzzle yourself. While the O3 model of OpenAI did chart new territory and cross a chasm that technology has never done before, it did it so expensively that it diminished the success. The official designers of the Ark AGI Benchmark wrote on their X page, "This performance on Ark AGI highlights genuine breakthrough in novelty adaptation. This is not incremental progress. We're in new territory. Is it AGI? O3 still fails on some very easy tasks, indicating fundamental differences with human intelligence." So, does this mean that the creator of the Ark Prize, which is a $1 million competition to solve the Ark AGI benchmark, was supposed to give $1 million to OpenAI? Well, he said this on his X account. So is this AGI? While the new model is very impressive and represents a big milestone on the way towards AGI, I don't believe this is AGI. There's still a fair number of very easy Ark AGI 1 tasks that O3 can't solve, and we have early indications that Ark AGI 2 will remain extremely challenging for O3. In a later post on X, he specified, "Does this mean the Ark Prize competition is beaten?" No, the Ark Prize competition targets the fully private set, a different, somewhat harder evaluation, and takes place on Kaggle, where your solutions must run within a fixed amount of compute, about 10 cents per task. We are committed to keep running the competition until someone submits and open sources a solution that crosses the 85% threshold. Now pay attention to the part where he says fixed amount of compute and then says it's supposed to be 10 cents. In other words, for AI to be considered AGI, we would need to bring the $10,000 cost of 87.5% score down to 10 cents. Do you see how far away this goal is right now? While O3 has made a giant leap towards AGI, it still has a long way to go. The reason this model has been able to reach such a high score is because it used a method called novel reinforcement learning. This simply means that O3 is trained to think a lot before giving a response to a prompt. Because this model puts an emphasis on reasoning, OpenAI has created a more methodical model. That being said, it's still a long way from AGI. In fact, their current model needs to be around 100,000 times better before we can even talk about artificial general intelligence. Now, if you're wondering how long it would take for us to reach AGI, no one really has the answer. It could be anywhere from 1 year to 10 or even more years, or even 100 years. But hey, experts and observers have constantly underestimated the progress of AI, so it might just be possible that we will reach AGI in the next couple of years. Here's another video AI enthusiasts loved watching. This is AI Exposed, demystifying the world of artificial intelligence, one video at a time.